How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Beat the Buzzer podcast. We got a lot of great topics to talk about today. I'm Jack here with my co-host Grant.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already yet done so, and comment down below if you like anything we say or have anything you want to add. So we're going to start with talking about our Eastern Conference favorites, and we'll touch on the Western Conference favorites after that. And then there's some interesting Bulls news that we want to touch on at the end. So
Yeah, I think we'll probably go, 5 minutes for this topic. We may go a little bit over, but I think
yeah, the East might be a little bit longer than the West.
Yeah. But I'll start that now. But in the East right now, there's four teams, I think, that are all within half a game or a game of each other in the top four, and that's Miami, Philly, Boston, and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Who do you think are the top? Like, in what order would you put them as favorites in the East right now? And would you put
them? I think that there's like levels to this type of stuff. So I think Milwaukee is on a tier with Brooklyn. I do think that Brooklyn, even though they're the 8th seed and it seems like they're going to have a tough path, it's the Eastern Conference. Everybody's going to have a tough path. And they could, if they play Miami in the first round, which right now they're slated to do, I think that that's wraps. But yeah, so I think those two are my two Eastern Conference favorites right now, and Boston was on that level, but the loss of Robert Williams, he's out 4 to 6, you said.
Yeah, so he could be back by the mid-second round.
Yeah, something like that.
Early third round if they get that far.
Yeah, and they got Daniel Tice at the deadline. They still have Al Horford, so they got a couple bigs, but Robert Williams is a big reason why they were the best defensive team in the league, and he's maybe the best lob threat in the league. So those are my three. And then if I had to put a fourth, it would probably be Philly just because of their star power. But again, I do think that those three teams are just a tier above everybody else.
Yeah, I agree with you about Milwaukee and Brooklyn. I think no one wants to play Brooklyn in the first round. I think you want to get out of that 1 or 2 seeds so you can avoid them, because I don't care if they can't play defense. When you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on the same team, who's guarding them? I don't care how good your defense is. I don't care who you have on them. No one's guarding Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. Now, the defense is a problem, and they prevent them from getting all the way to the finals or winning in the finals, but I still would pick them over teams like Philly because James Harden's to prove himself in the playoffs still. Philly's defense is also suspect, and I'd take them over Boston because their Williams news does really hurt them. Jason Tatum's been playing like an MVP. Jaylen Brown is playing great this season, and Marcus Smart's probably the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's all defensive.
You also lose depth losing Robert Williams, and depth is a problem, I think, on Boston because you have Derek White and Daniel Tice and Grant Williams, but you're missing that big. And Al Horford's great, but he's also old, so it's interesting to see how that affects them in the playoffs. But I think Boston still has a chance to at least get past the second round, and if he can come back, and if Williams comes back in the third round, definite chance. And I think Milwaukee is the clear-cut favorite in the Eastern Conference. Giannis is an MVP candidate, maybe top 3, probably top 3. Jrue Holiday, one of the best perimeter defenders. Chris Middleton showed up last year. He'll probably do it again. They have chemistry. They're deep. And I think they're very, very tough out in the playoffs and should be the favorites. I think you and I both agree on Miami, that they are slipping, and I don't think anyone has any faith besides Miami fans in Miami right now.
Yeah, I don't know what was they're 4-6 in their last 10. Obviously, everybody saw that run-in that Jimmy Butler had with both Eric Spoelstra and Udonis Haslem. And the narrative around Jimmy Butler over his career actually has been like, oh, it's not his fault. It's Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins' fault, or Doc Rivers did something, or Bruce, whoever the coach was when.
It was Bruce Brown or Brett Brown.
Brett Brown. Yeah, it's his fault. But, it's, wherever Jimmy Butler goes, there always seems to be conflict or problem. And, I couldn't see Udonis Haslem being like a big airhead, like a huge problem. Right. So I don't know. That's definitely a problem.
That's Miami's culture too, which is why he fit there so well and still fits there very well. But is Jimmy Butler really going to lead you to an NBA championship? He almost did in the bubble, but let's be honest, that was the bubble.
Right.
Like, no one thinks the
Lakers
dropping 50. Yeah, Dame was dropping 50 every game. Like, everyone was making threes. Tyler Hero was averaging 23 a game. And I just don't think you can I don't think you could trust in Miami because their defense is great, but they could easily be the best team in the East, or they could easily get like swept or losing 5 to Brooklyn if they don't defend. Brooklyn ran them last week. I think they were up by
Yeah.
30 at one point.
Yeah.
And Kevin
I mean,
Durant didn't even go for big numbers. They just got beat.
it's a 3-point shooting league, and their best player since the All-Star break shoots like 8% from three. Like,
yeah, and Duncan Robinson, their $90 million a year specialist, cannot shoot to save his life.
He's like league average or a little bit below, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So
I don't
it's not. I don't think it's necessarily a good thing when your leading scorer comes off the bench. So
agreed. I don't think. Yeah, I don't. All right. Well, that's time anyway. But I just was saying, I don't think Tyler Hero's going to.
Yeah, I mean, again, Miami Heat, they're still a really good ball club. They're a very versatile team, one of the best defensive teams in the league. They have a smart point guard who's won a title in Kyle Lowry. So
yes,
I mean,
that's very true. All right. Let's move into the West now. We'll do 5 minutes for this too. Actually, we'll go 4 because we probably don't need as much time.
yeah.
Let's just talk about Phoenix. Phoenix, I think, is the clear-cut best team in the NBA right now. It's not even close.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. They're 8.5 games above 500. They're on an 8-game win streak without, they're maybe you could say their best player, maybe second best player.
He's back now.
Yeah.
Chris Paul just got back.
Right. But yeah, they're 9-1 in their last 10. They're 36. They're 30-6 on the road. They're just really good. The chemistry you can tell for them is elite. They all love each other. And Mikal Bridges might be in the top 3 for defensive player of the year this year. He's all defensive first team for sure. And then DeAndre Ayton, Phoenix, just pay him.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, props to DeAndre Ayton because he could have sulked and complained the whole year like Ben Simmons or Kyrie did, but he came out and he proved that he's worth the money that he should be getting paid. Chris Paul, I think, is solidifying himself as a top 3 point guard of all time if he wins a championship this year, because he's playing at 36 years of age and he's playing better than any point guard and probably is playing as a top 10 player right now in the league. If you look at how he controls the team, his chemistry, his efficiency, all of the above, and his leadership is just amazing. And you need that in the playoffs. It was elevated in the playoffs. Last year in the playoffs, he scores like 15 a night. He doesn't need to score, but he gave you 40-point games and 30-point games when you needed them. So props to him. He needs the championship to put. I think he's already a top 5 point guard of all time. He needs that championship to put him in the top 3, in my opinion. But
I think recency bias will consensusly put him in the top 3.
Yes,
we got Magic, we got Steph, and we got Oscar, who I think,
and Isaiah,
who has 2 rings?
Yes.
You have better career stats than Chris Paul right now? I really don't know.
I don't know. I know Chris Paul, I think he's going to end up leading or having the most assists all time at the end of his career, I think. If he keeps playing. He may already be there.
Wait.
Chris Paul, most assists all time.
No.
What is it right now?
It's got to be Stockton. Stockton has 50.
No, I'm saying by the time his career is over, though.
Yeah, I think he's the only one with a chance to do that.
All right, Chris Paul right now is around 11,000. Stockton's at 15, so I was wrong.
He's got to play another third of his career. That's Stockton's stat.
Right, Stockton's absurd. Playing with Karl Malone helps that.
Right.
Yes, but I think he can catch Nash. I think he's about 2,000 away from Nash. I think he's got 2 more seasons in him that he.
Yeah, there's 100% an argument to be made there. The Suns have only lost 14 games this year. They're going to win 68 games. So they're a very, very good basketball team.
I think the only team standing in their way is Memphis. I was high on the Warriors earlier in the season, but Steph going out, Dre not being fully healthy at the moment. He's playing, but he's not fully healthy. They got to work out some lineup issues. Steph may not even be back right away. And if Ja comes back in the playoffs, I think that Memphis definitely is the second best team in the West and can beat Phoenix maybe in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I think that championship window for the Warriors might have closed.
I agree.
The thing is with them is it doesn't matter because they have 6 players under 23 who all look promising.
Right. So give it 3
Wiseman's shut down for the season too, I think.
Yeah, they're not. They're shutting down Wiseman. And next year they'll definitely be back, and maybe the year after. But what's nice is Kaminga and Poole and Walter Payton and all these guys. Like,
Walter Payton. It's
sorry, Gary Payton. My bad. Fuck.
But yeah, no doubt. And I think it's so hard. If Steph is healthy, it's hard to bet against the Warriors because
Yeah. Well,
titles.
Against the Suns, I would take that bet any day.
Yeah, except the Suns.
Also, Steph in the playoffs, like we can talk about guys that don't show up in the playoffs with James Harden and Steph. And some of these guys that rely so much on shooting just can't get down the playoffs because if you can't get to the rim, you can't get to the free throw line. It's a half court game. I'd rather have Kevin Durant with the ball in his hands or Giannis, honestly, with the ball in his hands than relying on Steph Curry's 40-foot jumper. Because at least
I agree.
At least I know Giannis is going to get to the paint or get to the free throw line. And he has proved that he can improve. He's improved from the free throw line.
Right.
All right.
So yeah, I do agree that the Grizzlies are the only ones with the shot, though. And then wait, we got to talk about the Lakers really quick. Fuck you, Lakers. You guys suck. You're actually terrible. LeBron and Davis were like cracking up on the bench last night while they were getting killed by Dallas or whoever. Like,
Davis is back on.
And LeBron is literally, comment down below if you agree or disagree with me. LeBron is padding his stats right now. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm a LeBron hater, but like maybe not. I really do think he is. I think he's putting up 50 because he's like, oh shit, we suck. We're not going to make the playoffs. I got to put up 50 so people overlook how much we suck. And they're like, oh, LeBron's carrying. He should be MVP still or whatever. And
right. It's clear he wants to pass Kareem too.
Yeah, that's clear. And I'm not saying LeBron hasn't been good this year because he's been absolutely insane.
Agreed.
But like LeBron doesn't put up 56 multiple times a year when he's trying to win a title. He coasts and puts up 28, 8 and 8 a night.
Yeah, and Davis is back Friday, but I just don't think they have enough time left. I don't think even with Davis that they're that much of a threat to anyone.
Currently
at the end of the day, their season's over.
Currently they're
tied for 10.
They're 5.5 games back from the 8 seed. So there's a 95% chance that no matter what, they have to play 2 play-in games.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but their season's over.
If they play 2 play-in games, that's Phoenix first round.
Yeah, that's a sweep.
Yeah, it is. It's a sweep. Phoenix knocked them out last year, and Phoenix is just better. And
I just don't. I'm so shocked by Phoenix because they came back with the same guys and they somehow got better.
The same team. I mean, they had a couple good additions like McGee, of course, and Torrey
and Landry Shamet, but like.
And Shamet.
Like that's crazy. They're 61.
Yeah, but that GM who used to play with LeBron, what's his name? I forget his name, but he's very good at his job. Like you can't call that a super team because they drafted most of those guys and just traded for Chris Paul.
Yeah.
But that roster is constructed perfectly.
Yeah, out of the East, I say Milwaukee is probably the only team with a chance to beat them. I think Brooklyn could probably steal 2 games because of their scoring, but they're not good enough defensively to stop Devin Booker.
Yeah, and they don't play as well as a team.
All right, let's move into the last subject we want to talk about. This actually was reported, 30 minutes ago?
Yeah, literally, 30
All right, it says that the Chicago Bulls will likely pursue Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, or DeAndre Ayton if they were to become available. They will not trade Vucevic unless they're receiving an all-star return. Before I asked you this question, you and I both agree Ayton's not going anywhere. He's resigning in Phoenix. No chance he leaves. But out of Gobert and Davis, which one do you think is more likely we could get, and which one would you rather have?
Rudy Gobert. 100%. Anthony Davis is a Chicago kid. He's younger. They get paid the same amount of money, and both healthy. I do think Anthony Davis is the better player, but both healthy. That never happens for one, and seems to always happen for the other. Besides when he gets COVID. But I do think that Rudy Gobert is a better fit for our team. I know our offense has been stagnant lately, really stagnant, which we should maybe get into.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this today anyway. We always end the segment shitting on the Bulls. That's the whole thing.
that is how we end the segment. But yeah, here's my thought process with Rudy Gobert. The Jazz have no good defenders besides Royce O'Neal and Rudy Gobert. So people are just like, that's the only reason why they're a mediocre defense. They're like 16th in defense. And it's basically just because of Rudy Gobert. He has never played on a team where there have been two good other defenders on the court. Two. Shout out Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Patrick Williams, whatever. Whatever. But also, besides Donovan Mitchell on the Jazz, they have no offense. I don't know, like, and you guys are probably thinking right now, like, who's on their team then? But they really don't.
Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson is a nice spark off the bench, no doubt. But
And that's it.
Rudy Gobert doesn't post up, even though he's like, it looks like he's 7'3" on the court. He never does that. You'll get a putback dunk and he's a decent lob threat. But I think that this fits in perfectly for the Bulls. We have absolutely no interior presence. We have Tristan Thompson guarding Giannis sometimes and guarding Embiid. Like
Javonte Green on Giannis.
Right. So it's like,
oh my God.
So it's like we need this. And Gobert just has to do exactly what he did in Utah. He gets paid $36 million to do it, which for some people think that that's an overpay, but he is the best defender in the league. And I think that that's a perfect fit for the Bulls. And on the Jazz side of it, you will get a nice scorer who can stretch the floor a little bit in Vucevic, and you'll probably get Kobe White and maybe a pick too.
Yes. I think we can both agree that Davis is probably the more talented when he wants to play and when he's on the floor. Now, he's come out and said, there's been reports that if he were to get traded, he'd want to come here.
Yes.
I just don't know how that situation works, and I have less faith in Anthony Davis than I do in Rudy Gobert. So in terms of fit, Rudy Gobert is definitely a better fit. I think Davis has more upside and puts us in immediate contention, where Gobert puts us up there with the Milwaukees and Phillies and Brooklyn. But what you said about Gobert is 100% right, and Utah is falling apart right now. I think Utah will split up at the end of this offseason like they're two stars right now, because they're not going to get past the first round, in my opinion. I think they're out in the first round. They're what, 6 seed you said right now?
Yeah.
Which means they have to play Golden State. I'd take Doncic and the Mavericks to beat them anyway if they had to play Dallas.
They're the 5 seed, but they've lost 5 games in a row.
Right. So they're not peaking at the wrong time.
No, not at all. And this is the same team we've seen from them for like 3 years. And literally nobody has faith in them, unlike teams like Denver, where people are like, well, they have the best player in the league. And
they're missing
Dallas, where they have the best player in the league. Yeah, and they're missing guys. So like there's potential there, and they're young still.
Right. And Utah I think they've done the most they can do. I think last season and the season before were the most they can do. But Gobert's not a second option. Gobert is a really, really good third option who can fit well with most NBA teams.
Yeah, like he's not even like a third option. Like he's I'm gonna get 14 points off lobs and put back down.
And I'm gonna get 14, and 3 blocks.
Right.
And I'm going to intimidate everyone.
I'm gonna lead the league in rebounds and lead the league in blocks, no matter where I am.
And I'm gonna be a force. I'm not gonna stop Joel Embiid or Jokic, because who does that? But I'm going to at least be an intimidator against guys that are coming into the lane like Booker and Paul and Middleton and Durant and those type of guys. So I think he fits well. I agree. We're going to have to give it Vooch, which with how he's played this season, go ahead. But he's played fine. He's just not great.
Yeah,
he had a great game last night against whoever the fuck we played.
Fucking Washington.
Yeah, which was a win, as we should have won that game. Yeah. By the way, our defense has picked up. We'll touch on that in a bit.
Yes.
Gobert
hold them under 100. Wasn't it like 94 points? Yeah.
Gobert fits well. I think he's the best shot blocker in the league. I think he's the best defender in the league, even though he doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year this year. Because he's won it like the last 3.
Yeah, it's a recent. Because he's putting up the same numbers. So
yeah, so he's done great. I think he fits well with us. Again, if Davis is healthy, I'd take Davis over him, but I think Davis probably plays 20 games a year. So I can't believe that.
Right.
Davis
so it's. And like the thing is with Davis is we 100% have to give up more, because some people will look at this Rudy Gobert contract, which is $36 million a year,
and not want it.
Right. And be like, this is a negative thing for him. Vooch is going to get paid what, 22 million next year?
I think next year is 22 or 23. Kobe gets paid about 7 or 8 right now. So you're putting it at 31.
That goes up. That'll go up to like 9.
That goes up to so you're probably 4 mil short, but you can go a little bit into the tax,
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
you can throw in another player. Again, we have to sign Levine to max dollars. Whether you think he deserves it or not, you have to sign Zach Levine to max dollars because he will get max from somewhere else and he will leave
Yeah.
if we do not offer him max dollars. But that doesn't mean the contracts won't work still. It just means we definitely have to offload Vooch's contract, offload Kobe White's,
I'm
and
so
maybe
scared
even
Levine's gonna test and leave if we suck.
well, the problem is I don't know where else he'd go. But one quick thing about Utah is Utah has to split it up because they're going to have to pick between Donovan Mitchell and Gobert. And they're going to pick Donovan Mitchell over Gobert. There's no choice there. But quickly about the Bulls. Yes, I am worried about Levine, but not that much because I don't know in terms of winning where else he would want to go.
Portland.
Yeah, I think Phoenix and Memphis runs the West though.
Memphis.
Next year too. I think next year Denver, Phoenix, Memphis still run the West, and Golden State too. I think they'd all be better than Portland, even if Zach went there. And then they can't pay Jeremy Grant either. Oh, they probably could. They have a lot of money right now, but still, they want to pay. They're pursuing Jeremy Grant, and they have Dame Lillard. Portland.
Oh yeah. If they give Jeremy Grant $28 million a year, they're.
And I'm just saying, I love Zach LaVine, but a trio of Zach LaVine, Dame Lillard, and Jeremy Grant are not winning a championship.
No, they're not.
They'll get a 5 or 4 seed in the West, but they're not winning a championship. But you and I were talking last night. I was watching the game. I know you were watching a couple ones before that. The defense definitely has looked better because we look like we've been trying and we look like we have more intensity. But the offense is becoming the problem now because DeMar DeRozan earlier in the season was shooting an absurd percentage and wasn't missing. But now he's missing the shots he was taking, and he just does not move or pass the ball.
Yeah, it's like a James Harden type thing. Where it's like,
and he's not. He just thinks he's that player now, and he's not that player. He hasn't been that player during his career. He usually is more of a. He's been a better cutter than he is this season. He doesn't need to do everything he's trying to do. Well, I think for sure, but it's really bothering me watching him play.
It is annoying, and people look at the box score from last night and be like, "Wow, you guys are really talking shit." When he had 32 points, and it's like he's done that. He's averaging like 28. We see it all the time, but like there's a reason why we're like 20 or like 18th in offense or something like that, and like really bad over this last stretch is because like when DeMar DeRozan has the ball, nobody moves. Like we get a Javonte Green cut once every 5 possessions. When DeMar DeRozan doesn't have the ball, it's a Levine or Kobe White Vooch pick and roll or something like that, right? Yeah. And DeRozan sits and doesn't move.
It's just a corner where he can't shoot anyway.
It's tough to watch, especially when you turn on like a Phoenix Suns game when they play
Boston game.
Philly.
A Boston game too.
But when Phoenix Suns played Philly, they looked at James Harden. They literally took him on an ISO with Booker, with Paul, put him in pick and rolls with Ayton, and just killed him the whole game. Like Harden, they just exposed how bad of a defender Harden was. And that was props to Monty Williams. They were like, all right, we're doing this. We're going to kill him this game. And it's like everybody's moving on that team. They all shoot threes well. And it's like, then you look at the Bulls and it's like, oh, DeMar DeRozan mid-range turnaround with 2 guys on him. Or something like that. And it's like, I don't want to complain about it, but like.
Right. I'm not going to complain that much because he's averaging what he's averaging. He's scoring a lot of points, but you wonder why no one else on the team is scoring. That's because DeMar's taking 25 shots a game. Levine's taking 18 shots a game. Vooch gets about 11, and that's it. Last night, I loved they went to Vooch early and they got him inside. And can Nikola Vucevic stop going to the 3-point line? Go inside of 18 feet. You have some of the best post moves in the game.
In the game.
You are a top 5 post player in the game.
And DeRozan did say, we got to get Vooch more involved. And I'm like,
that's his job.
Figure that out like 70 games.
What? Oh my God. Some of this is on Billy. I think we let Billy go under the radar a lot, but his mid-game adjustments are questionable. I think he needs to have better adjustments.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Lonzo solved the problem a bit, but not that much.
Yeah. Lonzo, as much as he doesn't do much besides shoot offensively, he's the best passer on our team still. Like he's just
Yeah.
Very, very good for us on
Love
both
it.
sides of the ball. I mean, we pay him $20 million a
He
year.
should be getting reevaluated tomorrow, like which means that we should get a
Has it been
timetable.
10 days?
It's almost been 10. I think tomorrow is the 10th.
Okay.
We should know by Saturday what that's looking like if he's going to return or not. And I know all of us want him back if you're a Bulls fan because that makes you more of a contender because of what he did for us when he was on the court. But I'm not going to rely on Lonzo Ball coming back for our playoff hopes. I think that if we go back to how we played at the beginning of the season with intensity, we were just outworking teams. Now we're relying on people to Levine and DeMar to carry, and it's partially Levine and DeMar's fault because they're not passing the ball. So
Right. I
we gotta
mean,
figure that out.
this box score against Washington kind of says it all. DeRozan with 32, Vooch 27, and Levine 14. Usually it's the other way around with Levine 27 and Vooch 14.
Yeah.
But then nobody else scores. Nobody else scores.
And that's partially like Patrick Williams score. Also, why is Derek Jones Jr. not playing? Billy Donovan, what the fuck are you doing? Put him in the game. Put him in the game.
It's that confused me from the jump. He hasn't played since Williams has come back, and he was like, I'm not a guy that lets players earn minutes. Well, I thought Derek Jones.
I could coach that team. I rode with Billy all year. We were winning, but now there's some turmoil. So figure it out, or else you're gonna be in the hot seat soon because we have the same talent we had all year. You got your guys back from injury. Now what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
I will say real quick before we end that if whoever we play in the playoffs, I would choose. I do not want to play Philly, even though I think they have a least chance of making it through out of those top 4 teams because we cannot guard Embiid. Then I don't want to play Milwaukee. Then I wouldn't want to play Boston, then Miami. So it would probably, from working of least want to play to most want to play, it'd be Milwaukee, Philly, Miami, or Boston, then Miami.
Yeah, I was listening to a Miami Heat podcast, and they said the team that they would most want to play is us. And I was like, well,
please.
We want to play you.
Because they're better than us probably, but we match up with them well, and who knows what happens when the playoffs
come.
come.
And I'm sure all of those top 4 teams are probably saying that. Like out of anybody in the East, maybe besides.
I'd want to play us too because we're 0-16 against anyone that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Monday against Milwaukee, or not Monday, Saturday against Milwaukee. Maybe that can change, or we'll get railed again. For some reason, they put us on ESPN once again.
They put us on ESPN.
Yeah, can't wait to lose.
I just want to hide as a Bulls fan. I just want to duck.
Last game we played well against them last time on ESPN. We just didn't have.
Was that the?
That was the game where Derek Jones Jr. dunked on Giannis. That was a good game. But
yeah, it was. It was.
We just don't have any. We don't have an answer for Giannis. So no one does, but we especially don't have an answer for Giannis. All right, well, that'll be all for today. Most likely, we'll probably check out the TikTok, please. It's we get more videos up there, and also comment if you have any ideas for what we should post on TikTok or anything you guys want us to talk about as well.
Yeah, the TikTok is at Beat the Buzzer. We also have a Twitter that we never use, so don't worry about it. But it's at Beat_the_Buzzer. And then like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and comment down below.
Yep. See you guys.